Now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It is 7:06. You're listening to O'Connor and Company here, getting your day started the right way here in the nation's capital. Somebody's got to be right. And, well, you found the right place.
That's right.
To be right. It's America's Morning Show. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up a little later in the program, in just 30 minutes, talk about fighting Marxism. Cheryl Riley is trying to defeat Jamie Raskin right here in our backyard in the 8th District in Maryland. And, well, we're throwing all our support her way. I haven't even met her. I don't know anything about her, but she's running against Jamie Raskin. And I've checked out her website. She's got the full package. She's ready to go. Coming up at 8:05, She Van Fleet. She is a survivor of Mao's China, and she's got a brand new book called Mao's America, A Survivor's Warning. That's coming up. I'm Larry O'Connor. She's Julie Gunlock.
Good morning.
And joining us now is a woman that we both admire quite a bit.
Yes.
She's very smart. She's very articulate, a real champion for freedom, and she has to endure Sebastian Gorka on a daily basis. She is Katie Gorka. Katie,
she's a saint.
Thanks for joining us. Good to talk with you.
Hey, Larry and Julie. Really fun to be here.
Your new book, Next Gen Marxism. We keep using that. It's funny. Our language morphs quite a bit, and there was a time when we would refer to people as socialists or leftists or liberals or what have you. But it really is Marxism what we're seeing here. This is textbook Marxism in our textbooks right now.
Oh, absolutely. And, a lot of people ask me, is it really Marxism? Do they think of themselves as Marxists? And then I have to remind people, don't forget Alicia Garza, one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matters, has an infamous video where she says proudly to her audience, we are trained Marxists.
Yeah.
So, yes, they are Marxists.
So you co-authored this book, by the way, with another great American, Mike Gonzalez at Heritage Foundation. Love talking to him on a regular basis. Next Gen Marxism, what it is and how to combat it. So let's take it from there. What is it? Where do we see it? What's it doing to our country? And how do we combat it?
Well, first of all, it's really the difference with standard good old-fashioned Marxism is where that's focused on the workers. This is now focusing on immutable characteristics, things like race, gender, ethnicity. And where do we see it? I'll tell you, we see it everywhere. And I think this past Sunday, we even saw it at the White House. The fact that Biden would not allow Easter eggs with religious symbolism on them, that is a manifestation of this cultural Marxism. Because what does Marxism want to do? It wants to eradicate all religion. It wants to eradicate the family. And, we're seeing it absolutely everywhere now. And, it's also behind the whole transgender ideology. And again, not everybody will self-identify as Marxist, but you can be sure it is Marxism that's at the root of this.
Katie, one of the most dangerous things is that they're not calling it Marxism. They're wrapping it up in this sort of much nicer, much more digestible language. Like it's kindness, especially with the transgender ideology. You want to be kind. You want to support even the word gender affirming surgeries, gender affirming care. Mm-hmm. Talk to me a little bit about the language that they use.
Oh, it's such a good point. One of my favorite moments in researching the book was when I called Riley Gaines, who, has been such a brave spokesperson defending women in sports. And she said to me, one of the things that she learned along the way is that we absolutely cannot use the left's language. And she stopped using terms like gender transition surgery, because she said the bottom line is you can't transition gender, right? But this is why I think that our book is actually so important and so timely, because you're right, the left does not use that red flag term Marxism for the most part, right? They hide it. There are professors who will use it, but for the most part, they don't use it. But it's so important that Americans understand that it is, in fact, Marxism. And what Marxism is all about is two sides at war with each other, and only one can win. And I'm sorry, that is fundamentally un-American, right? As Americans, we know that we can work together to solve problems.
We're speaking with Katie Gorka. She's the co-author, along with Mike Gonzalez, of the new book. It's out today, Next Gen Marxism, What It Is and How to Combat It. And, of course, I first learned about this when I read Andrew Breitbart's book, when he talked about the Frankfurt School and the intellectuals who brought the Marxism here to American academia. It's now all over the university system. When one wonders why suddenly college kids are taking the sides of the Hamas terrorists, that's what this is. This is manifest of that mentality. But let's face it, Katie, ultimately, whenever Marxism tries to take over a country and take over a culture, there's violence, there's bloodshed. What was the Antifa movement and the BLM activities of 2020? Was that sort of a precursor to what we have in store for us?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you're right. History tells us again and again that socialism, Marxism can only result in tyranny because that's the only way it can survive. People do eventually wake up to the reality of what socialism brings. And yes, 100%. What we saw in 2020 is a taste of things to come if we continue down this path. And just to be clear, one of the things that Mike and I, just talk about in the book is the fact that those events, the violent protests, the destructive protests, those were not spontaneous. Those were absolutely engineered by these groups. And that's also really important for people to understand, especially those who kind of got sucked up in it, thinking that they were sort of doing a good thing by going out and carrying the Black Lives Matter sign. No, they've been manipulated. They've been used.
And it's a macro issue, as you're discussing, in terms of what we see in our streets and our college campuses and, frankly, is in the hallways of Congress. But this is also very much a micro issue. I think many parents during the pandemic and during BLM and stuff, we saw it at our kitchen table when our kids were encouraged to confront us over our politics in our own home at our kitchen tables, and they are being encouraged either by teachers or professors or by influencers in social media. And that sort of brings us back to the Mao conversation and the Cultural Revolution, where children, I mean, you tell me, you've done the research, I'm sure it's in your book, with regard to how children are now being militarized against their own families.
Oh, 100%. And I think this is something that's not being talked about enough. And it is actually really frightening how our children are being manipulated to become little social justice warriors. Mm-hmm. There are so many programs and courses in our kids' schools now that are about activism, teaching kids to be activists. It is so frightening and so manipulative, and more parents need to wake up to this, and it's not being talked about enough. No. It is very scary.
Well, this is why the book is important. Next Gen Marxism. I love when the dogs chime in. That's the best part. That's because Seb just woke up.
You're 100% right.
What it is and how to combat it. And listen, I known Katie Gorka long enough to know that despite the very real concerns addressed in this book, Katie, you have a Reagan-esque optimism about our future. You believe that our best days are ahead of us. We just need to address this. We need to take care of it now so we can reach those better days. And so I appreciate the optimistic outlook here too. If you don't mind, can I put a pause on the selling of the book for a quick second? Because there's one other thing I want to mention. The Republicans in Fairfax County, if you happen to be a registered delegate, Katie Gorka is running for chairman of the Fairfax GOP. Oh. And, if you've been wanting to see some more action and some more excitement there within the Republican Party in Fairfax County, Katie Gorka might be a good choice for you. So if you are a registered delegate, I'd love for you to look into that and investigate. And here's her personal phone number if you want to ask her any questions. It's no, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that.
You're so rude.
Katie, congrats on the book and good luck with the campaign to be chair of the Republican Party there in Fairfax.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Actually, they can reach me through my website, katieforfairfax.com.
There you
Great.
go. All right. Thanks, Katie. That's
Thanks,
Katie
Katie.
Gorka. The book is Next Gen Marxism, What It Is and How to Combat It.
Later this morning on the Chris Plant Show, Joe Biden spent $7.5 billion of our dollars to build 7 electric vehicle charging stations. 9 a.m. on WMAL.
Let me just say, I am a big fan of Shakira. There's a lot of things to like about Shakira from my perspective. And then when you read her views on life, you start to think, okay, there's even more to respect about her. Shakira gave an interview to Allure magazine this month, and she was asked about the Barbie movie. Why you bring that up? Well, I guess Shakira's got a bit of a Barbie situation
Barbie look,
there.
sure.
Yeah. She's got 2 boys, an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. And she says, so Shakira, what'd you think of Barbie? And what'd she say? I hated it.
Good for her.
I love that. Not even like, well, it wasn't my cup of tea.
Right.
I respected
But she
the
went on.
cinematography and the artwork of it and the No. She said, listen, my sons hated it. They felt it was emasculating, and I agree with them to a certain extent. She said, I'm raising 2 boys. I want them to feel powerful while still respecting women.
This is amazing. She said, I think men have a purpose in society and women have another purpose as well. We complement each other.
And she said, I like pop culture when it empowers women without robbing men of their possibility to be men, to also protect and provide.
Well, this is possibly the most provocative thing. She's just because a woman can do it all doesn't mean she should. That's pretty amazing. Why not share the load with people who deserve to carry it?
Well,
who have a duty to carry it as well.
Shakira is Brazilian, isn't she?
She is.
I think so. She
Yeah.
comes Colombian.
Colombian.
Oh, even so she comes from a Latin nation. Thank you, Michael.
It
Shelton,
is a
always
man-hating
looking
film. It absolutely is, and it is. And I watched a few minutes. I will say I did not watch the whole movie because, frankly, I couldn't get through it. And people are like, I have a sense of humor. Oh, come on, it's fun. It's good fun.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I've also heard of interpretations that, like, maybe I'm misreading it. Ken's actually the
hero.
The hero in it.
Well, he certainly comes out as the most likable character.
Right,
It appears.
right.
I have
So I
also
get
not
that.
seen it, but I've seen plenty of commentary on
Sure,
it to think I
sure.
get the handle on it. Here's the big question here about Shakira's views about Barbie. How long will it take for her to have to be forced to apologize about this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Will there be pressure on her, or is she sort of transcendent of that?
She's certainly counterculture here.
Mm-hmm.
And, look, I'm not really interested in going into a sort of deep analysis of the Barbie movie, but I will say there is a problem in the society of emasculating men, telling men that their natural masculine traits are toxic, that it's a psychological disorder that men need to be treated for, that they need to become more feminine. This is a problem in our society. So regardless of what the Barbie movie sort of says and conveys, and maybe I'm not getting it, blah, 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 this is a real problem in society. And I'm glad Shakira has identified it.
Me too. I'm very glad to hear this from her. And I think that she's a great mom, and those boys are lucky to have her as a mother. And she's also really hot.
You always love
Sorta.
covering Shakira.
I ruined the whole, toxic masculinity is a myth thing, didn't I? I'm sorry. Well, come on. I'm saying what everyone's thinking.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:36 as we continue our march through this Tuesday morning in your nation's capital, second day of April. And as you know, coming up, we mentioned it earlier, joining us at 8:05, we're going to speak with the heroic local hero, Xi Van Fleet. She's got a brand new book called Mao's America, A Survivor's Warning. She sees the real threat of the same kind of cultural revolution she had to experience in communist China creeping up right here in America. So we'll speak with her then. I'm Larry O'Connor, and she's Julie Gunlock.
Good morning.
And as I've mentioned, we just had Katie Gorka about her book Against Marxism. We got Xi Van Fleet, who's got a book about Marxism. And now we have a guest who is running an election against a Marxist, Cheryl Riley, who wants to beat Jamie Raskin. I mean, honestly, it's tell me I'm wrong. Where are the lies? His policies are nothing short of Karl Marx-esque. And Cheryl Riley is ready to take him out of his seat. Cheryl, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Larry. Hi, Julie. Good morning. Thanks for having me again.
You bet.
So here I am once again. As you recall, I ran for county council in 22. And, boy, I really didn't understand how the machine worked at that point. So certainly against the Tacoma Park Mafia, as I like to call them.
Yeah.
And so I planned on running again in 26 for county council. Everyone across the board sees how feckless they are. It's even worse than I even thought they could be. But it dawned on me that, Raskin at the time, when I saw him, post a photo of himself yet again filing to run for Congress, like he has it in the bag, I said, no, absolutely not.
Make him work for it.
Because we all know.
Yeah.
We all know here in Montgomery County, he runs the show. He, whatever he tells the county council to do, they do. So I thought, you know what? If not now, when? I'm done with the gaslighting, the lying, and the, pro everything that goes against America and American values. And that is Jamie Raskin.
The website is Cheryl4Maryland.com. That's Cheryl with a C and the number 4. So, Cheryl, how do you go about this? Because he is part of the machine, and God knows he's funded. He doesn't even have to raise one penny in Montgomery County, and they're going to fund him because he's got a national profile now because he is the face of the opposition of Donald Trump in the House of Representatives, and an embarrassment to people here in the area, honestly, because he doesn't do anything for Montgomery County. So how do you approach this? How do you get the message out? Is it just a door-to-door situation? What are you doing? What's your strategy?
Well, I think I've taken these past 2 years and sort of not made a name for myself, but people are aware of who I am and how I am one of the people. That sounds corny, but I am. I rent my home. I'm dealing with the same financial issues everybody is dealing with, and that's across the board. I'm tired of the gaslighting. I'm tired of the there's no prioritization on purpose. So certainly here in Montgomery County, Jamie Raskin's district, I feel that I am part of the community and that I do have solutions. And they know what the solutions are. They refuse to implement them based on virtue signaling and an agenda that they're following. And so I thought, you know what? I don't have $1 million. I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars. That should not matter. As a citizen of the United States of America who is concerned, who genuinely wants to help constituents and our country, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and let's see where it lands. Right now Hogan is actually leading Alsabrooks, who Raskin endorsed, so that tells you everything you need to know about her, that she will do whatever he says. And Hogan's beating Trone and Alsabrooks, who claims that her race is purely grassroots, and it's not.
Cheryl, I wanted to ask you though, as you're going around the county, Montgomery County and other areas, are people connecting the dots here? In other words, they are concerned about the border. They're concerned about illegal immigrants. They're concerned about crime. Are they connecting that to policies supported by Democrats and specifically Raskin?
Well, I'm very happy to report they are. I don't know how many, obviously, but I am out and about in the community. I will talk to people wherever I go. That's always been me. The other morning I was walking my dog and had seen many people. It was a beautiful morning that I hadn't seen in a very long time because of the weather and, it was winter. And they all, were like, hello, good to see you. And someone had mentioned, hey, I thought I heard you were running against Jamie Raskin. And so I anticipate, being in a very blue, woke area, that I was going to get some backlash. And I got none of it, not from one single person. In fact, a group of elderly women who I knew it pained them very much. They never say words like suck, but they said Jamie Raskin sucks. Which made me very happy.
Where's
I
the
noticed
lie?
on social media. I notice on social media, certainly, when I post something or anybody posts something about Jamie or he says anything, the comments are negative.
Yeah, he's a bit of a punchline, but he's got the protective bubble, and it's good that he has to fight for the seat, and I hope you give him a run for his money. It's going to take some money, though, so you want to go over to the website to get more information. It's CherylForMaryland.com. Cheryl with a C, the number 4, Maryland.com. Cheryl Riley, good luck with the race. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, you guys.
Oh, you know how there was a huge migration to Florida, mostly during the pandemic, when people saw, well, first of all, if I've got to, stay shut in and not do anything, at least let's go where the weather's nice, right? But then also add to that Governor DeSantis actually, not having the kind of lockdowns that people had elsewhere. Add to that the fact that the economy was strong. They've got Disney World. They've got beaches. They've got no property taxes. No state taxes, state income tax. I mean, there was a lot of things that had Florida going for it. And the fact that it seems to have an overwhelming Republican majority now, and it's a solid red state. Yeah. No longer on the bubble, no longer a swing state. That's pretty amazing. So a lot of people moving to Florida. Well, now we got a lot of people moving out of Florida, but not because of any of the things that I just laid out there. There were a couple of things. Apparently, some people didn't do just a teeny bit of reading about Florida.
You don't even need to do reading.
They're very upset, these transplants, to find out that there are hurricanes there in Florida.
Also, it's hot.
It's very hot. It's really hot and humid down here. I mean, it's the Everglades, for God's sake. Yeah, what are you just learning this? And they're very concerned that they've got increased homeowners insurance rates because of the hurricanes. I didn't expect it to be 100 degrees at night, said one of them. Now, here's what's interesting. And our fabulous executive producer, Heather Hunter, has explained this to me because she went to college in Florida and spent many of her formative years in Florida. Depending on where you are in Florida, you basically have a little snapshot of a part of the country. In other words, like the Gulf side of Florida, especially down the southern part of the Gulf, is very much like the Midwest, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Minnesota, because those people go down to the Gulf side. If you go over to the other side, like West Palm Beach, where Trump is, in fact, I was down in West Palm Beach last year. It's like the Upper East Side of New York. Huh. It's like everyone's got a New York accent. So New York and New Jersey is over on the Atlantic side, and Connecticut and that sort of thing. In other words, liberal Democrat area, right? And then, of course, in the Panhandle, that's basically Alabama.
Got
a little bit of a redneck Riviera, they like to call it. So it appears that most of the people cited in this article, I believe it's the New York Post who's writing about this, they're all Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, liberals.
It's
liberals. Oh, no one told me it was going to be 100 degrees at night. It's freaking Florida. What did you want?
I will tell you though. My sister-in-law recently moved to Arizona from Ohio, grew up in Ohio. She cannot believe how hot it is in Arizona. She has had this moment of, okay, I knew it was hot. Why is it 1,000 degrees at night?
It's the desert. So
she's walking in circles in her home instead of going outside to walk the dog.
So let me just get this straight. People decide to uproot themselves and relocate to Florida, and they're surprised to learn that it's hot and there are hurricanes. It's like, honestly, that's other than toothless men who decide to mess with alligators. What else is there to know about Florida?
And also, what do they miss? Pizza Rat? Like, what do you... Oh, yeah. So much better in New York.
By the way, also...
being assaulted randomly by men on the street.
Some people are also raising the politics of the state. But it's really right-wing here.
Yeah, they better not import that.
That's right.
New York
that's
politics.
Need to go. So
yeah, they need to go home.
So it's kind of funny. And the reactions to this article. Right? So, no, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, so now will that mean the real estate prices go down? As now we'll get, finally, because he had so many people moving there, huge demand, prices go up. Now they're leaving, so you may have a glut of inventory. You have less demand. Will real estate prices go down? I am told real estate prices never go down in Florida.
I doubt it.
I'm told
so they've come, they've ruined it, and now they're leaving.
Yes.
Well, it's not totally ruined.
Jody Cummings from Connecticut. Oh boy, can you picture Jody Cummings
from
with her Dr. Burke scarf that she wears and her Elizabeth Warren haircut? Yeah. It wasn't the utopia on any level that I thought it would be. I thought Florida would be an easier lifestyle. I thought the pace would be a little bit quieter. I thought it would be warmer. I didn't expect it to be literally 100 degrees at night. It was incredibly difficult to make friends. It's very expensive, very, very expensive. So I'm going back to Connecticut.
Oh, go.
Well, I don't know. I still like the idea of Florida. Would you ever move to Florida?
Yes.
See, Meredith is
No, but
very
I
resistant
want to be one
to
of
the
those.
idea of
What do they
Florida.
call snowbirds
The
or
snowbirds,
something?
yeah.
I do not. I don't like the heat like that. 100 degrees at night. No thanks.
I'm fine
No.
with that. So they have this thing called air conditioning.
Yes, but I
It's
don't want to.
really amazing.
I like the outdoors. I just like it a little cooler, and I hate humidity. So, did I say I'd move to Florida? I think I enthusiastically said I moved to Florida. Maybe not.
All right. Setting aside the stereotypes of New Englanders, I do want to point out there's one other thing, and this is a person from Kansas who decided to go back to Kansas. So I'm going to give a lot of grace there. A good Midwesterner.
Yeah.
Her name is Barb. I love Barb from Kansas. Barb is leaving her Orlando area home. She's selling her home at a $40,000 loss. And she's got a significant reason that I'm not going to fault her for. She cited an armadillo infestation that caused $9,000 in damages.
Barb's doing the right thing.
What does that even look like? An infestation of
Texas
armadillos.
too. Bugs in Texas. I had a friend who moved to Texas for a while, and she's like, "I've never seen these things." It's like Australia. Australia and New Zealand sound like perfectly lovely places to live, but then they have literally monster spiders and bugs in Australia. So that's a good reason to move. Armadillos
An infestation in your home
and it
of
caused,
armadillos.
It's not just that there were a couple armadillos sitting around. They caused $9,000 in damages.
Wow.
Oh, and then Hurricane Ian destroyed her roof on her 62nd birthday.
Aw, I'm going back to Kansas.
Poor Barb.
You know what she did? She woke up and said, we're not in Kansas anymore.
That's right.
The roof blew off. It's very, very
It really
Dorothy,
did.
very
Yes,
Wizard of Oz.
absolutely.
Yeah.